Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am looking at my recent US election tarot reading that I did. Now we now obviously know the outcome of the election and that Donald Trump has won. In my reading I predicted the opposite, that Kamala Harris would win. And I just want to have a look at the cards that I obtained during that reading because I absolutely think that the cards that I got were correct. However, my interpretation of those cards wasn't. And I'm more than happy to put my hand up and admit that because I did make a comment in one of the comments that for me, it's irrelevant who wins. I'm just practicing my craft. And like with any craft, with any vocation, I'm more than happy to learn from both my successes and failures. I don't see me doing an incorrect reading, particularly for election readings, which are I did say this in my video, they are notoriously mercurial and difficult to predict, though of course not impossible. But there's just so much at play when you're doing an election reading, in the sense that you've got to be careful that you're objective, and there's lots of other things that you need to be very aware of. But in any case, I just wanted to come on today and have a look at the cards that I received and make some comments on that. I think for tarot readers or anyone who practices any sort of divination, I think it is really crucial to not bury your head in the sand when you make an incorrect prediction. It does happen from time to time, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that. There is something wrong with just covering it up and pretending like it never happened. And I'm sure there's quite a few readers out there that are probably might be feeling that way. I certainly was not the only reader that interpreted the cards to say that Kamala Harris would win. There were other far more erudite and knowledgeable and experienced readers that I respect that made the same prediction. It's certainly a very strange predicament or situation to find ourselves in. Why so many did that? I mean, I had to think about it, and I had to think, well, maybe was I not objective enough? And I said in my video, like, I'm based in Australia, so it doesn't really matter to me who wins from many points of view. But I did recognize the importance of the US elections, as the US still has considerable power in the world, and what happens in the US does impact countries like Australia who follow that US model for better or worse. And I did make that comment. Now I will, before I look at the cards, I will also say that one of the other things that I thought of was that I didn't draw enough cards. And when I did start the reading, I did comment that I might do extra cards if I feel the need to, and I didn't do that. And I think that drawing one card each for each of the parties just wasn't enough. And I think that's something that I will do in the future, is add extra cards, because I will be doing I'll definitely be doing election readings in the future. I'm not going to be discouraged by the results or by my interpretation for this US election in any case. My love for tarot extends far beyond what the public thinks of me. I've loved tarot since I first came across it in my late 20s, and so regardless of the video on the US election and my prediction for it, I'm certainly not discouraged to continue with tarot. If anything, I think it's really taught me or added extra experience for me in terms of some of the cards. And the first card that I'm going to look at is this one. And this is, I think the whole reading really hinges on this Five of Swords. So I got the Five of Swords. This is the the Morgan Greer Tarot. I got the Five of Swords for the outcome card for Trump. And then I got the Hierophant for Kamala Harris. Now, first thing is, my question was, I'm looking at my notes just to get it right. My question was, the outcome, what would be the outcome for each of them? With the benefit of hindsight, I should have asked that question differently. And I did write many years ago on my blog, which I haven't updated in years. I did put a couple of posts on, the art of asking the right question, which is imperative for any reader. It's so important how you frame the question, and I might link those blog articles in the description box below if you're really interested in. I had two. I had one on relationships, asking questions for relationships, and then I had another one for business and work. But anyhow, so I asked what would be the outcome for them. Whereas with the benefit of hindsight, I think a better question would have just been who will become president. Or if I stick with the outcome cards, then I should have drawn 2 or 3 cards for each of the candidates and not one each. But back to this 5 of Swords. This is a really interesting card. When you go and read books on tarot, many books on tarot, virtually they all say the same keywords. This is a card of defeat. It's a card of, let's look at the image here, okay? And I apologize for the glare. I'm not very good with, oops, excuse me. Okay, and the reason why people say it's a card of defeat is because we have how this card is portrayed, and it's universally like this. You've got a card, one person that holds swords. Okay, so it's the 5 of Swords. So there's 5 swords in the picture. And then we've got these figures in the background that look really dejected, forlorn, downtrodden. They look miserable. They look unhappy. They look defeated. But this person is not defeated. Okay, and that's the issue with this card, is that some readers will see this as a card of victory. And I think if I would have drawn more cards, that would have absolutely come through. Like and that has come through in some, in some books have made note of that, with positive cards surrounding it, the 5 of Swords is a card of success and victory. And I had to think about that, because to me, there are clear cards of victory in a tarot deck. Okay, for example, the 6 of Wands. In the Morgan Greer, there's just one character in this card, and there he is on his horse, and he's got this laurel, this wreath on one of the wands, which is a symbol for victories. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, this guy here is accompanied by a few other people that are they look like they're cheering him on, so he's got the respect and the accolades from the crowd, from the public. He is the victor. Okay, and that to me is a clear victory card. And I had to think about, why did I not get the 6 of Wands or some other card in the tarot, like the Sun, or 9 of Cups, or gosh, there's quite a few cards in there, or even like one of the Kings, or even one of the Queens. Kings and Queens both have positions of authority, right? And then it really made sense why that was, because while Donald Trump won according to the votes, he did get more votes. If you look at the percentages, it's something like, I think he got something like 51% of the popular vote, and Kamala Harris got like 46, 47, something like that. That's not, in my opinion, a huge error margin, like a huge difference. And there's a whole swathe of people across America, these guys here, that are really feeling absolutely dejected and defeated, and feeling some people are going absolutely crazy over the fact that he won, which I think is a bit extreme. So we've got a whole section of society that is really feeling absolutely devastated by the fact that he won. So it's not, it's not the kind of victory where everyone is cheering on, and in fact, is the victory that is very divisive. Now, that would have been the case regardless. I think even if Kamala Harris would have won, it would have been just the same, because those percentages are so close that it kind of like, in a sense, it doesn't matter who wins, that this card was going to pop up because the victor is one, but there's so many people that are miserable and would have been absolutely in the same boat had the other party won. Okay, whether you like it or not, that's how it is, you know. Neither Donald Trump or Kamala Harris have won by 70% or 60% even. Like it's just not. And also, furthermore, either party, they're just, to me as an Australian, seem like they're so against each other, and that's a really concerning path that we've been on for quite some years now. But anyhow, that's beside the point. The point that I wanted to make is that this card here, this Five of Swords, came as the outcome card for Trump. Now, Kamala Harris got the Hierophant, and I thought that the Hierophant is someone in a position of power, and that's why I attributed her to, you know, this is an outcome card that she's going to win, because the Hierophant is somebody, this guy here is in a position of power. However, the Hierophant is not the emperor, is not a king or a queen. I think his leadership is a bit more subtle. And, you know, I mean, looking back, gosh, what made my prediction, where I can say that I made a mistake, was not drawing more cards. I think an extra 2 cards for each of these would have really shown who actually wins, and would have certainly highlighted this Five of Swords as being a winning card. I went and I got out Rachel Pollack's book, 78 Degrees of Wisdom. This was published back in, geez, when was this actually published? A long time ago. First published in 1980. All right. There you go. It's been a while. It's kind of like a staple for tarot readers. It's got a lot of wisdom contained with it. And, you know, if you think about 1980, tarot certainly wasn't as popular or had the public image or, you know, interest that it does now. And I mean, tarot is absolutely huge now. But what Rachel Pollack says is about the Five of Swords is one of the most difficult cards, and one of the reasons why some people find the Rider pack too negative. And yet it mirrors a real situation that most people would experience at some time in their lives. All the fives show conflict and loss. Swords carry this idea to the extreme of defeat. Sometimes the meaning of the card will focus on the large figure in the foreground, the victor, okay? Because there is a person that's winning in the card, and that's that person at the very front of the card in the foreground. More commonly, we identify with the 2 figures turned away. They have lost some battle, and now the whole world bears down on them. The water choppy, the sky jagged. A sense of humiliation as well as weakness goes with their defeat. So, you know, and then she goes on to some examples of when she read and how this card actually, in her examples, was a card of defeat. So anyhow, so that was really what I wanted to talk about, the Five of Swords. Now, the first 2 cards where I was looking at the party, and I think the question was who will win the U.S. election. And I did say when I got the Four of Swords, maybe this means that they're resting after a win. But you know, the Four of Swords isn't a card of winning per se, so I didn't really, didn't really pay that attention that much. And the Democrats got the Knight of Swords. So, and this is showing exactly how things are for either party right now. The Republicans are, you know, they've won the battle. They don't need to fight anymore, right? They've won it. They can rest now, okay? They can breathe a sigh of relief for some of them, or, you know, just, it's over. For the Democrats, however, the Knight of Swords is a person in battle, okay? It's a person battling. And it just shows that for them, you know, the battle is certainly not over, because, I mean, they've got to really look at, like anyone who loses a battle has got to look at why they really lost it, particularly one that's about hearts and minds of the people. But ultimately, this is the Knight of Swords as a card of the person in battle, all right? Being on the defensive. Everything around this person is burning, right? There's the tower, there's the castle burning. You know, they've got blood on their sword. They're like they've really got to sit down and they've got to continue to go to battle because they can't rest. Essentially, that's what the Knight of Swords is for me. Whereas the Republicans are resting, okay, because they've won. So yeah, certainly a learning curve for me. This is a reading. Readings for elections are a lot more difficult than readings for a person one-on-one because you're dealing with this huge cohesive mass of energy. Now that doesn't mean that you can't do accurate predictive readings, and I'll be testing my my experience over the coming elections. But it just means that you've got to be really present and not swayed either way, which is hard, I think, for anyone. But it just means they're more challenging. It doesn't mean that they can't be done. It just means that they're more challenging. So anyhow, I think that's all I wanted to address today. I'd like to thank everyone who put in comments that were considerate and thoughtful. I'm kind of like now at the point where I'm ignoring people that are just there just to shit stir and make ridiculous claims. I mean, someone told me to burn my cards and I responded and I said, you know, I hope your medical practitioner or doctor is never wrong, or you'll be telling them to burn their medical books, you know. I mean, but I'm not even going to bother with replying anymore to those sort of ridiculous comments. You know, and that's the truth. As a tarot reader or anyone who does any sort of divination, the fact of the matter is that you will be judged far more harshly when you make a mistake and you make an incorrect prediction than a lawyer who loses the case, the mechanic who diagnoses the wrong thing in your car, the doctor who makes the wrong diagnosis. You know, you can take any profession that someone will make you know, a wrong diagnosis, or you know, they'll make a mistake, and yeah, sure, they will get judged on it, but never as harsh as a tarot reader who gets a reading wrong. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I suppose if I was the doctor that cut off the wrong leg of a person, then yeah, you know, those sort of circumstances, you will get judged and reprimanded pretty harshly, as you should be. But I just feel like, you know, as a reader, you get absolutely flogged when your reading isn't correct. And look, I'm now at an age where I'm really comfortable with where I'm at. I'm obviously comfortable with putting those sort of videos on YouTube as a public video with full confidence, or fully knowing that, yeah, if I'm wrong, everybody will see it. It doesn't bother me at all. Like I said, this is my craft, and I'm more than happy to learn from both my successes and also from my failures, as is the case here. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I just did this video to have a look at some of the reasons why I think that was the case, and certainly talk about the Five of Swords. I will not underestimate that card ever again when it comes up in a reading. Yeah, really, really interesting how that's come up. But anyhow, I'm going to wrap it up now. I welcome thoughtful comments. If you're going to come and just make ridiculous comments and send me emails that are just absolutely rubbish, I'm just going to delete you, and I actually don't care. You'll take literally 2 seconds of my time in my life, and it's not really worth the... I'm not bothered by it, basically. I have a good laugh though, which is the best way to deal with some of the nonsense that comes up on, you know, the commentaries in these sort of videos. But for everyone else that's been really supportive and has left me really interesting comments or provided feedback that I consider to be thoughtful, I thank you. I thank you for taking the time to do so and for visiting my channel. Thanks everyone for continuing to support my little channel. I really, really appreciate it. And until my next video, take care.